Hello, everyone, and welcome. We'll call the meeting of the Madison City Commission order for the meeting of August 13th, 2012. Jeff, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Delzer?
Here.
Commissioner Erickson?
Here.
Commissioner Waldner?
Here.
Commissioner Abraham?
Here.
Mayor Hexum?
Here. Yeah, the minutes of the August 6th meeting is a part of your record. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes of the August 6th meeting?
Make a motion to approve the minutes. Second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the minutes as presented. Any questions or speaking? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. You have the agenda for this meeting. Are there any changes to the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. Any questions or speaking? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. Under appearances, acknowledgements, and correspondence, we have one item, and that is to acknowledge the July building permit report. Oh, Chad isn't here. Okay.
Make a motion to acknowledge the July building permit report.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to acknowledge the July building permit report as presented. Any questions or speaking on that motion? Jeff, do you have anything to add to that? Say we got,
On the building permit report?
yep,
No, except a good size to it. but
pretty good size,
we
one
can
item
collect
there.
his fees off all that.
Finally moving dirt, huh?
Right.
Okay, if there is nothing else, then is there a motion? Or, I'm sorry, we have a motion. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. I asked if there was any comment on the building permit report, Chad, and there wasn't, so, okay. We have no items listed under old business. Moving to new business, we have one item, several items. Number one is personnel.
I'll move to approve the personnel.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the personnel recommendations as presented. Any questions or speaking? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. New business number two, we have received a letter from LAIC regarding Downtown Improvement Task Force. That letter is attached to your agenda. I think it is self-explanatory, and Julie and her board members are here tonight if there's anything to add to that. I think the main points here that the LAIC board expresses in writing, again, that they are confident they can head up a task force on downtown revitalization and redevelopment. Their intent is to involve a broad base of people in the community in this task force. And of course, LAIC is our economic development organization, and I appreciate their willingness to take on this task. We have had discussions at previous meetings regarding the city setting up a separate task force, or a comment that the city might hire an economic development specialist in these matters and affairs. But as mayor, my recommendation to this commission is that we support LAIC's proposals to move forward with this task force on downtown redevelopment. They have stated their position clearly in the Forward Madison 2 material that was presented actually last fall, and I guess at this point I would ask for any comment first from the commission on the letter, or questions for Julie and the board members that are here.
I guess, Mr. Mayor, I'd just say that I think it's extremely appropriate that LAIC would do it. And I visited briefly with our director, Julie, and feel that she is very willing to work with their board and get this going. And I think she's very open-minded about the process, and that's good. And I think she understands, with her chamber background and all the things she's brought to the table, it's gonna be a good, positive experience. So I think it's extremely appropriate for LAIC to be doing it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
I guess I'll echo what Dick just said with Julie's expertise in the chamber and moving on into the LAIC. And one other thing I guess that I'd like to add to that is LAIC has worked with a lot of bringing in companies and things to Madison, Lake County area. And it makes sense for them also to work in the downtown development. And if we don't have these other companies in our community, we're not gonna have people downtown. And so it just makes sense for them to get involved and mesh into both of them. In my mind, that's what economic development is, looking at all of that. And so, and I commend them on their work so far, and I think we can keep going with it.
Okay.
What kind of action would you like to see?
Yeah,
I don't know, Jeff, do you think we should have a motion to acknowledge the letter or
I-
appoint LAIC as the lead group to form the?
Maybe acknowledge the letter and accept their offer to,
Establish the task force for
Task force.
downtown redevelopment? Okay,
I'd like to make a motion to acknowledge the letter and to accept their request to handle the task force for downtown revitalization.
I'll second that.
okay, the motion is made and seconded that we acknowledge the letter from LAIC regarding asking them to take the lead in the downtown improvement and development task force. And at that point, I guess I would ask if there's any further discussion. Julie, do you have any comments or any of the other?
No, I mean,
Mr.
it's really
McDowell?
self-explanatory in the letter. We just want to work with a variety of people. I haven't asked anyone to be on any sort of a task force, but I did ask someone who was at the last meeting that expressed the thought that we should have a task force, if they would be interested in getting together with me and trying to pick out a cross-section of people, like somebody from DSU and, cross-sections from retail manufacturing, and they did agree, and that was Ashley Allen. I did ask if he would be interested in sitting down and working through that, and he said he would be.
I guess one question that came to my mind is that would it be appropriate for you to maybe give us a report, I don't know, a couple of times a year or
Well, I'm already gonna come back quarterly, if you want me to come back more often.
a quarterly report would be excellent on your activities in regards to this task force as well as other activities. Don't you think, commissioners, that would
Yeah, I
be
think she's actually on.
very beneficial
It's into
for-
October already.
for,
I'm on the October 8th agenda already.
and then we can continue the dialogue as we move along. And I think that your approach is very, very appropriate, so.
And I will be sending out emails, every once in a while, so once a task force is established, then the meetings would be open, I would assume,
Mhm.
so I would send the email out to everyone, in case others wanted to come, so.
Would there be an opportunity then, would these be open to the public at times, or set at convenient times so the general public could sit in and offer some ideas and suggestions, and I think that would be good too. Mhm. Okay, anything else? If not, then, all in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you very much, then. New business number 3, discuss eliminating fire department storage building. Okay. Reserve and creating a fire hall reserve. Okay, I guess that would be,
Mike,
Yeah, I
that
think-
would probably be me.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was a
Okay.
request from-
I-
whoever wants to speak.
You may recall that, must have been 2 weeks ago, I guess, at our first budget meeting, Randy Menard, the fire chief, was up, and he had requested in next year's budget $5,000 for a building reserve. And we had discussed with him the fact that he had $5,000 in, that had been created a couple of years ago for a storage building reserve. And he said, well, I really don't need that storage building reserve. And I believe the general consensus was that, well, if we would transfer that storage building reserve into a building reserve, in other words, the original storage building reserve was another building for whatever
Okay.
purpose. He doesn't need that. He does want to start a building reserve for major repairs to the existing fire hall. Well, the proper way to do that then would be to just rename the existing reserve. And that's what this action, if you approve it, would do. And the $5,000 has been removed from next year's budget already. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay.
So you want action then tonight to make that change for,
If that sounds
2012?
okay with the commission. Yeah, yes, excuse me. We would just rename the reserve, you know, but technically it's eliminating one and creating another one.
Do you know how much is in there?
$5,000.
Yeah, I know the former chief wanted, he thought he needed another off-site place for dry storage. So
Right.
we had looked,
Right.
you know, they couldn't do it at the airport even though we thought we had some space. That doesn't work. But
Yep.
evidently, from what Randy said, as I recall, and you might recall, he said that they evidently did some shuffling and cleaning at the,
Clean some stuff out.
and they have plenty of room now. So it makes sense,
Yep.
I think. I would move to eliminate and change the name of the fire department storage building reserve and designate it the fire hall, maintenance reserve?
I would just say fire hall reserve.
Fire hall
Because it
reserve.
could be maintenance then, or it could be to replace the building someday.
Okay, fire hall reserve.
Second.
motion is made and seconded that we eliminate the fire department storage building reserve and create the fire hall reserve.
I could have said fire hall building reserve, but really fire hall is the building.
Yeah.
So I didn't. It's not,
Okay.
no, it's not fire department reserve, it's fire
Yeah,
hall.
fire
reserve,
hall.
Which would mean it's building.
Okay? Any questions or speaking? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion is carried. That completes the regular order of agenda for business, and we have an executive session scheduled for pursuant to South Dakota Code 1-25-2, paren 1, and 1-25-2, paren 3. Could we have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved. Second.
Motion is made and seconded to go into executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried.
Same, Mayor. The reason why the state law is identified is that's the new law, that I have to refer to the actual 125-2 subparagraph 1. That's why you don't see the description anymore. I
Okay.
could put the description on there also, I guess, but that's why the actual statute site is in there. And what these two are, without referring them verbatim because they're long, one is to discuss like personnel action or performance and fitness, and the other one is to discuss with the attorney a possible contractual matter.
Okay,
So, okay.
thank you.